Good morning. I'll call on my deputy speaker to grace us with prayers this morning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let us pray. Almighty God, from whom all wisdom and power are derived, we beseech thee so to direct and prosper the deliberations of the Legislative Assembly now assembled, that all things may be ordered upon the best and surest foundations for the glory of thy name and for the safety, honor, and welfare of the people of these islands. Bless our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth II, Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, Charles, Prince of Wales, and all the royal family. Give grace to all who exercise authority in our Commonwealth, that peace and happiness, truth and justice, religion and piety may be established among us. Especially we pray for the Governor of our islands, the Premier, the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, the Leader of the Opposition, Ministers of the Cabinet, ex-officio members and members of the Legislative Assembly, that we may be enabled faithfully to perform the responsible duties of our high office. All this we ask for thy great name's sake. Let us say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And as King David said, pray for the peace in Jerusalem. The Lord bless us and keep us. The Lord make his face shine upon us and be gracious unto us. The Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon us and give us peace now and always. Amen.
Please be seated.
Reading by the Honourable Speaker of Messages and Announcements.
I am not in possession of any apologies this morning, as required under Standing Order 6 of our standing orders. I'd also like to express the condolences to the Honourable Leader of the Opposition and his family on the passing of his mother, Miss Faith. The condolences also to the Honourable Mr. James Ryan on the passing of his mother. Condolences to a long-serving civil servant, Mrs. Georgine Lazary, on the passing of her husband. A current long-serving civil servant, Mrs. Mary Rodriguez, on the passing of her father. And an outstanding businessman, Mr. Kent Ryan. Condolences to his immediate family and all others who may be mourning at this critical stage in Cayman's history. I acknowledge the Honourable Minister responsible for education.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, and I also want to echo my condolences to all of the family members of the persons that you have identified in your opening remarks, but I in particular want to acknowledge and express condolences to the Leader of the Opposition on the passing of his mom, Miss Faith Ebanks, and to all of the family, and in particular to his brother Ray, sister Clara Faye, Elizabeth, Karen, and Dana, as well as all of their immediate families and extended families as well. And it's interesting, Madam Speaker, because I am offering condolences to my own family in this regard, as Miss Faith was married to my granduncle up until his passing, and so it is certainly with deep condolences and sympathies that I do offer my, on behalf of myself, my family, and of course the constituents of West Bay, offer these condolences at this time.
Recognize the member from Easton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I too would like to echo condolences to all the families that you read out on the passing of their loved ones. And like the Minister for Education, I want to particularly express my condolences to the Leader of the Opposition on the passing of his mother. I did not know his mother as well as he knew mine, because he was somewhat of a very good friend to my mother, contrary to what people may believe. I once told my mother she couldn't pick my friends, therefore I was not going to pick her friends for her. And he had a very close relationship with my mother. And on the passing of my mother, he was one of the first people that called me that morning. Madam Speaker, I spoke to the leader of the opposition, and I said this morning that on radio that he reminded me of how we like to say the cliche that a mother's love is never ending. And we must travel this road before we understand what it's like. Madam Speaker, I know the leader of the opposition had a special bond and love for his mother, and to see him here this morning is carrying out that love and bond, and he must be congratulated in his mourning for his beloved mother. He is here with us, and I congratulate him and welcome him, and I know that she is watching over him for him to get his job done on behalf of the people of this country.
Madam Clerk.
Other business, private member motions, private member motion number 19 of 2000.
I recognize the Honourable Minister for Education.
Madam Speaker, I was hoping that this would not have to happen, but I rise pursuant to the Constitution, Section 74, just to draw to the attention that I would like to ask for time for members to be able to attend to form a quorum, because it does not seem that we have a quorum at this time to proceed with the business of the House.
Honourable Minister, are you asking for time by way of suspension to call your colleagues, or are you asking for time by way of the House not being quorate?
I'm asking pursuant to Section 74, the House not being quorate at this time.
Thank you. Member from Easton.
Madam Speaker,
is it a procedural point?
yes, Madam
Okay.
Speaker.
Please proceed.
On the minister's intervention there. Madam Speaker, the minister is asking on the Constitution, Section 74 of the Constitution, is it fair and reasonable at this stage for her to be asking for a quorum when the meeting has only just begun, or is it when the meeting is when the meeting is proceeding that that section of the Constitution is valid and can be used?
Thank you, member from Easton. The member, that's why I asked the question, whether it was asking for time or whether it was bringing my attention that it's quorate. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ask the clerk to continue reading what she said so that we can get on to item 2. And at that time, I will allow the member to make her intervention at that stage. Madam Clerk.
Other business, private member motions, private member motion number 19 of 2015-16, inquiry into the search and rescue operation on Sunday, 6th of March 2016, to be moved by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, the first elected member for West Bay.
I recognize the Honourable Minister responsible for Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this point, I again would like to say that I believe that these motions require that we have sufficient numbers, especially as I'm the lone person on the side of the government bench. So I'm asking that we don't actually proceed at this stage until we have the quorum that's necessary pursuant to Section 74.
Thank you. Member from Easton.
Madam Speaker, can the minister explain what she means by not proceeding at this time? Is she bringing it to your attention that the members, there is no quorum, or is she asking for a suspension that she anticipates they will be getting here?
Honourable Minister responsible for Education, are you asking under 8.2, and I'll give you some time to look at 8.2 of the standing order, bring it to my attention that there's not a quorum, because it's a specific procedure I'll have to follow if that's your request. If you're asking for time for the members to come, that's also a legitimate request that you can make, and there's another procedure that I would have to follow. Just take your time. It's Standing Order 8.2 and also Standing Order 13. 8.2 deals with the special meeting and members being summoned, and 13 deals with the quorum as read together with the Constitution. Take your time. Honorable Minister for the Education, the Chair gives you the indulgence to get the advice of the Principal Legal Advisor to the Parliament. She's concluded.
Madam Speaker, it is in conjunction with Section 13.
Standing Order 13.
Standing Order 13.
Thank you, Honorable. Just for the benefit of the listening public and obviously others who may not have availed themselves to the opportunity, as the context of Standing Order 13, the Chair will proceed to now read it. The quorum of the House of a committee or a committee of the whole House shall consist of 8 members. Obviously, that's 10 because of the 2009 Constitution, in addition to the person presiding, which is the Speaker. Standing Order 13.2, if objection is taken by any member that a quorum is not present, the presiding officer shall direct that members be summoned, the member taking objection having to remain within the chamber, and if after 5 minutes the presiding officer is satisfied that a quorum is not present, he shall adjourn the House without question put. The member has had a valid point, and that there are 9 persons present. I'll now call upon my sergeant to approach my desk.
Madam Speaker.
1 minute, member, please. Please make a note from the parliamentary register of members who are present, those who are not present, and summons those that are not present to this chamber. The 5 minutes will not commence until the conclusion of the intervention from the member of East End.
Madam,
Do you give way, member?
Madam
Please,
Speaker.
Honorable Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you are directing the sergeant to summon members.
That's
Am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, that is a formal procedure, and you're taking that formal procedure. Members shall attend when the Speaker summons them. And there is a process for that afterwards as well. And I hope, Madam Speaker, that you will, I don't need to tell you.
Honourable member from Leader of the Opposition, I'm grateful for your attempt to guide the chair, but please do not anticipate. Have the confidence, all members, that when that time comes, I will allow members to make interjections if they feel the chair is
No,
not
Madam
following the
Speaker.
procedure.
No, Madam Speaker, I would never attempt to guide you. That's not at this point. What I'm not anticipating, but I do require an indication from the presiding officer that if members do not follow, then the Speaker's summons, that there is a process, parliamentary process, and that is what will be taken through to the end, because one leads to the next.
That is a correct assumption. There is a parliamentary process, and I can assure all and sundry that this speaker is not a perfect speaker, but I can give you my assurances that I followed the law to the best of my interpretation, and I have no intention of so deviating here today. Are there any other interventions? Member from Easton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in that, the Minister has brought to your attention a particular matter, and under a particular standing order, and in particular, standing order 13, says that this standing order is valid at this time, is it not?
Could you repeat that, please?
Madam Speaker, may I word it in a different way? The question, and I'm merely asking a question at this stage of the chair for ruling. Are these Legislative Assembly Standing Orders 2016 revision 2006, sorry, Madam Speaker, the standing orders under which this House conducts its business?
With the House indulgence, I'll call upon the Honourable Attorney General as a legal advisor to provide the advice to that response.
In response to what, Madam Speaker, may I just inquire?
To the member from Easton, please repeat so there won't be a risk of me misinterpreting what your intent is.
Madam Speaker, for the benefit of the Right Honourable Attorney General, my question is, does this House operate its business in accordance with the Legislative Assembly Standing Orders 2006 revision?
Honourable Attorney General.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Speaker, the answer is yes, as read with the 2009 Constitution.
Member from Easton.
Madam Speaker, maybe the Attorney General can explain to us where the Constitution says that.
Honourable Attorney General.
Madam Speaker, is this a debate? Because I really don't, just a minute. I don't think it's appropriate for me to be standing up giving advice without benefit of a discussion. So I think so.
We wish to have a recess so that you could provide it to me.
Yeah.
The reason why I have not gone so far as to say that it's a debate, because obviously at this point is the springboard for me allowing the requests of the Honourable Minister of Education. If it's 8, then it's quorum. If it's 10, it's not quorum. So that's the reason I've allowed the free exchange. And in order to expedite the proceeding, I was asking on the floor. It was no attempt to put you on the spot. But if you require some time, if you could just give an indication how much time you need, I'm more prepared to suspend so that we can get that before we go to the next stages.
Well, yes, but just as a series of questions, Madam Speaker, and I've been asked to answer on the spot. And clearly, whatever said is on record. And I would prefer to be careful about the answer that I provide. Section 74 provides the quorum of the House. The Constitution says so. The current standing order says 8. Constitution says majority. Clearly,
over the last couple of, well, since 2009, we have been operating at a quorum is a majority. So I don't see why an exception should be made. Has to be that we have taken it.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Sergeant, it is now 18 minutes past 10. According to standing orders, I have 5 minutes in which to wait for you to summons the members who are not present in the chamber. The time begins now.
Madam Speaker, if I may directly explain to the Sergeant, the Premier is on the premises. He needs
Honorable member, please do not speak until the chair acknowledges you. Member from Easton.
I do apologize, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much.
That was not, it was not being done disrespectful, Madam Speaker, to the chair. But I do know that the Premier is on the premises.
Member from Easton, we're in a 5-minute summons. I'd ask all members to please remain in the chamber. Order. Member from Easton. Five minutes having now been elapsed, no member has acquiesced to the summons of this honourable chair by virtue of Standing Order 13.2. It says that if after 5 minutes the presiding officer is satisfied that a quorum is not present, he shall adjourn the House without question. In order to complete my satisfaction, I will call the names. And members, if you're present, answer. If you're not present, then I don't expect an answer. Honourable Clerk, please call the names of my members.
Honourable Alden McLaughlin, Honourable Moses Kirkconnell, Honourable Kurt Tibbetts, Honourable Osborne Borden, Honourable Wayne Panton, Honourable Marco Archer, Honourable Tara Rivers.
Present.
Mr. Maroy McTaggart, Mr. Joseph Hugh, Honourable McKeeva Bush.
Present.
Mr. Barney Bush.
Present.
Captain Eugene Ebanks.
Present.
Mr. Alva Saku.
Present.
Mr. Winston Connolly.
Present.
Mr. Ezra Miller.
Present.
Mr. Arden McLean.
Present.
Honourable Anthony Eden.
Present.
According to the chair's calculation, there are 9 duly elected members present, 8 absent. We're short of the quorum by 1. Hence, the chair declares that the House is not quorate, and in accordance with 13.2, I have to adjourn. The standing order is silence as to how long I will adjourn to. The chair will therefore adjourn this honourable House until 2.
Before you get to that point, Madam Speaker,
Please.
you can put the understanding order too. I raised a point of procedure and privilege earlier in regards to
Honourable
members not
member,
present.
please allow the chair to just conclude this, and then you can decide whether you still need to do that, and the chair will recognize you. This honourable House now stands adjourned until 2 p.m. today, when another meeting will reconvene. That gives members sufficient time to respond to the summons of the chair, and I would ask all members to please become completely cognizant of Standing Order 6. Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, I would agree with you if you intend to address that matter of members not following the Speaker's summons. If you intend to do that at 2 o'clock, if not, then I understand what you just said. I can talk to you in your office, Madam Chair, Madam Speaker.
Let me just, member from Easton.
Madam Chair, I wanted to do some intervention as well, but since it's at 2, when everyone has been given a fair and equal opportunity to come here where their job is, at that time, if they're not over there, then the fireworks shall begin, the intervention shall begin.
Because this is a complete adjournment, it would not be as in ordinary cases where when a quorum is brought to the Speaker's attention, it is anticipated that members are within the precinct of this Parliament, and I would take my normal departure to the left through the door, and the mace is left in the House. Because I've been informed by my sergeant, reliably informed, that no other member is within the precinct of the Parliament. I'll have no choice but to exit to my right and ask the sergeant to remove the mace from the House to complete the proceeding of this morning.